Roman invasion, war with Germanic tribes. The Roman-Germanic wars were among the most consequential and enduring conflicts in ancient European history. Spanning several centuries, they saw Rome's imperial ambitions collide with the fierce independence of the Germanic tribes. These wars, marked by brutal battles, shifting alliances, and cultural exchanges, ultimately shaped the future of Europe. The prelude to war. 1. Rome's early encounters with Germania. Rome first encountered the Germanic tribes during the Cimbric Wars, 113 to 101 BCE. The migration of the Cimbri and Teutons southward brought them into conflict with Roman territory, highlighting the threat posed by large-scale tribal movements. Battle of Orazio, 105 BCE, a catastrophic defeat for Rome, where tens of thousands of Roman soldiers fell to the Cimbri and Teutons. 2. Julius Caesar and the Gallic Wars, 58 to 50 BCE. During the Gallic Wars, Caesar waged several campaigns against Germanic tribes, such as the Suebi, led by Ariovistus. Caesar's accounts in Commentarii de Bello Gallico emphasize the Roman view of the Germanic tribes as a chaotic but formidable enemy, reinforcing the narrative of Rome's civilizing mission. 3. Rome's strategic goals. Expansion into Germania was driven by the desire to secure Rome's northern frontier, exploit the region's resources, and prevent future tribal incursions. The Roman invasion of Germania, 12 BCE 9 CE. 1. Campaigns of Drusus the Elder. Beginning in 12 BCE, Nero Claudius Drusus led a series of campaigns into Germania, aiming to extend Rome's control east of the Rhine. Key achievements: construction of forts, roads, and canals to support military operations. Temporary alliances with certain tribes, such as the Bat Avi, who provided auxiliary troops. 2. Tiberius and the push toward the Elbe. After Drusus' death, Tiberius continued the campaigns, reaching as far as the Elbe River and consolidating Roman influence in the region. 3. The Teutoburg forest disaster 9 CE. Rome's ambitions suffered a catastrophic blow when Arminius, a Germanic leader trained by the Romans, united several tribes and ambushed 3 Roman legions led by Publius Quinctilius Varus. Impact: Rome's eastern expansion into Germania was halted permanently. The Rhine became the de facto border of the Roman Empire in the north. Rome's retaliation and frontier wars, 14 to 180 CE. 1. Germanicus campaigns, 14 to 16 CE. Germanicus, the adopted son of Emperor Tiberius, led retaliatory strikes into Germania, recovering 2 of the 3 lost legionary standards and inflicting heavy casualties on the tribes. Key battle: Battle of Idistavizo, 16 CE, a significant Roman victory against Arminius' forces, though it failed to re-establish Roman dominance east of the Rhine. 2. The frontier defense system. Following the Teutoburg disaster, Rome shifted its strategy from conquest to containment, building the Limes Germanicus, a network of forts and watchtowers along the Rhine and Danube. Roman garrisons stationed along the frontier engaged in frequent skirmishes with tribes such as the Marcomanni, Quadi, and Alemanni. 3. The Marcomannic Wars, 166 to 180 CE. Under Emperor Marcus Aurelius, Rome faced large-scale invasions by Germanic coalitions, including the Marcomanni and Quadi, along the Danube frontier. Key outcomes: Rome repelled the invasions but at great cost, revealing the empire's increasing vulnerability. The wars drained Roman resources, contributing to internal instability. The migration period and the decline of Rome. 1. The Germanic migrations. The arrival of the Huns in Europe during the 4th century triggered widespread migrations among Germanic tribes, such as the Visigoths, Vandals, and Ostrogoths, bringing them into direct conflict with Rome. Key event: crossing of the Danube, 376 CE. The Visigoths, fleeing the Huns, were allowed to settle within Roman territory but rebelled after mistreatment, leading to the Battle of Adrianople, 378 CE. 2. The sack of Rome, 410 CE. Led by Alaric, the Visigoths sacked Rome in a symbolic blow to the Western Roman Empire. This event marked a turning point, accelerating the empire's fragmentation. 3. The fall of the Western Roman Empire, 476 CE. The deposition of Romulus Augustulus by Odoacer, a Germanic chieftain, marked the formal end of the Western Roman Empire. Germanic kingdoms, such as the Visigothic kingdom in Hispania and the Ostrogothic kingdom in Italy, rose in its place. Cultural exchange and legacy. Despite the conflict, the Roman-Germanic wars facilitated significant cultural exchange and adaptation on both sides. 1. Roman influence on Germania. Germanic tribes adopted Roman practices, including coinage, architecture, and governance. Christianity, spread through Roman missionaries, became a unifying force among Germanic tribes. 2. Germanic influence on Rome. Germanic cavalry tactics and guerrilla warfare influenced Roman military strategy. Germanic soldiers served as auxiliaries and federates within the Roman army, blending their warrior traditions with Roman discipline. 3. The synthesis of cultures. The fusion of Roman and Germanic traditions laid the foundation for medieval Europe, with elements of both civilizations reflected in feudalism, law, and language. The legacy of the Roman-Germanic Wars. The Roman-Germanic Wars were more than a series of military engagements. They were a crucible for transformation that reshaped Europe. The wars highlighted Rome's adaptability and resilience but also exposed its limitations. For the Germanic tribes, the conflict forged a path from fragmented tribal societies to the architects of new European kingdoms. Epilogue: a clash of civilizations. The Roman invasion of Germania was a defining moment in ancient history, a clash between two vastly different worlds, Rome's centralized empire and Germania's decentralized tribal system. While Rome sought to impose its order on the untamed frontier, the Germanic tribes resisted with fierce independence, ultimately outwell. The Roman-Germanic wars were defined by contrasting approaches to warfare, reflecting the strengths and vulnerabilities of both sides. Rome relied on discipline, engineering, and organization, while the Germanic tribes utilized mobility, guerrilla tactics, and intimate knowledge of the terrain. 1. Roman strategy: the pursuit of control. Engineering and fortifications. Rome's ability to construct and maintain infrastructure was key to its military strategy. Forts, roads, and bridges allowed for the rapid movement of legions across the frontier. The Limes Germanicus, a system of defensive fortifications along the Rhine and Danube, became the backbone of Roman containment strategies after the Teutoburg defeat. Divide and conquer. Rome frequently exploited tribal divisions to weaken Germanic resistance. By allying with some tribes and attacking others, Roman generals disrupted potential coalitions. For example, Drusus and Tiberius secured temporary alliances with tribes like the Batavi and Ubii to stabilize the frontier. Legionary discipline. Roman legions were heavily trained, equipped, and capable of adapting to different terrains and combat scenarios. Despite setbacks, their ability to regroup and retaliate ensured Rome's continued dominance along the Rhine. 2. Germanic strategy: defense and opportunism. Guerrilla warfare. Germanic tribes excelled in ambush tactics, using the dense forests and rugged terrain of Germania to negate Rome's advantage in open-field battles. The Battle of Teutoburg Forest is the most famous example of this, where Arminius lured Roman forces into a trap, using the terrain to devastating effect. Flexible alliances. Unlike Rome's centralized command structure, Germanic tribes operated in loose coalitions. While this often led to disunity, it also allowed tribes to regroup quickly after defeats. Leaders like Arminius demonstrated the ability to unite disparate tribes temporarily for large-scale operations. Psychological warfare. Germanic warriors employed intimidation, using war cries, drums, and symbolic gestures to demoralize their enemies. The Roman historian Tacitus described Germanic warriors as physically imposing, with a fierce appearance that unnerved Roman troops. The role of leaders in shaping the conflict. The Roman-Germanic wars produced legendary figures on both sides whose decisions and leadership shaped the course of the conflict. 1. Roman commanders. Drusus the Elder, 38 BC, 9 BCE. Drusus led early campaigns into Germania, constructing forts and canals to establish Roman control. His sudden death cut short Rome's initial push into the region, leaving his vision unfulfilled. Germanicus, 15 BCE, 19 CE. Germanicus avenged the Teutoburg Forest defeat, recovering 2 legionary standards and achieving tactical victories against Arminius. However, his camp,